So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chain Gang with me and Matt Payne. It is a super busy night tonight. I'm going to get a lot of riders on due to have quite a few people, lots of people coming on simultaneously, which always proves to be interesting for Zwift because they have to keep up with the volume of riders hitting the key. Basically, you need to hit it and keep on going at it. Don't forget, of course, if you're a member of the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, you can join as soon as you get those links, and Donny Chain Gang Supporters Clubs get them early. So if you want to save all the hassle, join early. Make sure that you get your links in, and when you get the link, join straight away, guys. If you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, don't get caught up in the melee. That is all of the people who just joined a single ride at a time joining in those last 45 minutes because it gets busy. We do expect to see that numbers go up much closer to the 85 to 90 mark at the moment, and it's going to be busy. One man who's going to have his work cut out is the Wolf himself. It is Jimmy Allen, and we are going to try and get in touch with him. Now, I'm saying we're going to try because we haven't actually tried getting hold of him, so let's see if we can get Jimmy on the end of the phone. Always a quick moment. So let's see if Jimmy's there, whether he's got all of his sound turned down other than the phone call. It's not going to be long before Jimmy is in one piece. So, Jimmy, how are you doing?
Great, mate. Yeah, legs have recovered from Tuesday. So, yeah, all good. Ready for this challenge ahead.
Indeed, and I noticed Mr. Watson's already said evening Wolfpack, and it seems to be be catching on this for some strange reason. I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I showed my wife that picture afterwards, and she couldn't she didn't know which one was which.
Excellent, I love it. It's going to be a busy evening, isn't it? I mean, we've got a really fast course, isn't it? It is. It's hectic at the best of times around here, but this is going to be interesting because the numbers are starting to swell again, aren't they?
Yeah, it's always going to be a tough one, and I know that when Russ does it, it's said before it's a challenge to keep, especially at the end, to keep it together. And obviously, because it's a short course, only so is it 2 kilometres?
Yep.
You can end up catching the riders in front. So yeah, well, I mean, I keep saying it's just. I think I'll stick at 2.5 and people can rally around me, and it seems to work. It seems to work, and then we'll ramp it up to maybe 3 watts per kilo towards the go, and then give the old go and have a bit of a thrash, a bit of a tear up.
Well, we are looking forward to that for sure. And it's been a busy couple of weeks. Now, I'm not going to jump into you halfway through this one because that is really mean on this course. I rarely jump in with Russ halfway through, but what I will do is I'll jump back and see whether you're in one piece, whether the Wolf is still in one piece, or whether he's just a shivering little wreck curled up in a little ball in the corner afterwards. So
hibernating.
That might be the one.
Okay.
Good. All right, mate. Good luck. Have fun. Enjoy, sort of, somewhere along the lines, and I'm sure you'll keep everybody under control. Lots of compliments about Tuesday's leadership, so enjoy.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, mate. See you in a bit.
See you in a little bit. So great to catch up with Jimmy. We're going to jump straight in with the map. Remember, this map is Crit City, our course downtown Dolphin. Our lead in is 0.1k. We then do 0.9 of a lap before we actually get to the start of the lap, and that's when the lap counter kicks, because it's going to be 25.9 laps in total once we've gone around. So we do our leading 0.1, we then do 25.9, which gives us about 49.2 in total, 49.3 to the finish, but the countdown banner will go. The one thing that we do need to bear in mind, there is no warm down within the event. You will get spat straight into Crit City Standard, and that means that we will be trying to avoid it, jumping in with the group. But as they go across the line, we'll get you to the line, but the cameras will be jumping back before they get sucked out of the ride. We've got Richard Langmead on our red beacon duties tonight, and one of our really experienced riders. Then let's see how he gets on in those red beacon duties. It is super busy, and remember, it's downtown Dolphin. it is going to get very, very hectic. Our riders know what to expect. The big thing with this, it's not a lot of height elevation. If we jump from our fantastic Zwift Hacks map across to our Velo Viewer profile, then you'll see that we come out from the gate and we come around this in a clockwise direction, which means that you need to be very aware of exactly where you are and get yourself in to position prior to the kicker. The kicker goes up, it's cobbled. It makes a big difference if you can power into it if you're on the back of the group. If you're on the front, don't accelerate over the top until we've had that signal from Jimmy Allen for the go, go, go. It is absolutely all about making sure that you keep this dialed, that you make sure that you keep this all together, and that you don't have a problem because it suddenly goes all absolutely pear-shaped. So this is absolutely key to stay in control, stay in position, and jump in with the gang. So let's jump across in with the riders. Now you can see the gang over there all lined up and ready to go. I think we're going to move across. Let's jump in with Jimmy, our beacon. Don't forget, if you've got the companion app, you can jump across. Here is Jimmy as he's sat on the line, and Jimmy Allen just on his way out at the moment. We are going to stick with him because he's going to be rolling the gang out, and you can just see what's up on the top left of the screen. So if we follow the group out onto the course, you will be able to see everybody rolling nicely out. Greg Booker's in here, Mr. Mason's in the gang. Looks like pretty much everybody rolling away nice and smoothly. So we are going to jump in with the team, and at the moment looks like everybody are riding together very well indeed. So let's get across, let's jump in with the riders that are out on course here on the Chain Gang. So don't forget, the lap counters will be keeping a check of the riders out on the course. Looks like our riders are working well at the moment. All together, we're just going to do a little bit of screen juggling of the game, as we seem to manage to have picked up a couple of glitches over the period. So let's keep a check as we go back across. So up over the cobbles we go, and on to the top of the climb. This section very, very tough indeed, but looks like everybody getting across the section. Remember, this is all about holding the gang together. We're going to just try and keep a check on our riders. Let's see how it's rolling at the moment. So Greg Booker at the moment looking pretty smooth. Let's jump up with the drone camera. Remember, Greg, of course, one of our very fast riders. He knows the score. He's already rolling around by that yellow beacon. It's one of the reasons that we have the cut-off in there, is to allow us to just make sure that we get everybody that we want on and nobody that we don't. There are some rip-it-up merchants who are in the habit of trying to take rides apart. They're a fairly known entity. The way that we have to take them out, we register all of our rides. It also means we need to say so duty care. Lots of youngsters can see Matt Gilmore back in here. He had a great ride, didn't he, on Tuesday. It was great to see him in action. Don't forget, of course, we also had the women's only Wednesdays Donny Chain Gang. So the WOW DCG, that was yesterday, and super busy, and they did a great job of showing you exactly how it's done, because they were able to come through and to sit basically as one super smooth bunch. Now, I think our Red Beacon's going to have his work cut out bringing people on. We're just going to take a little bit of a look at the back, just seeing Mr. Thorpe just distanced off the back. I think that mate, I would do a late join and a rejoin there. Same for Sonia. Sonia, you need to do a jump out and a jump back in. Just Mr. Wolf at the moment, just pushing on here. So Tom, remember the downhill sections for these lighter riders, much harder. So Tom, give it a bit of a kick, mate. Get yourself into that gang. You're going to be able to survive comfortably on the uphills, but not on the downhills. Let's see Chris Seidel here. Remember Velskin, of course, one of our key supporters on the Donny Chain Gang. Chris in here riding nice and smoothly. He's going to be sitting comfortably. We all know that. Massive thank you to Velskin for all of their support. Mr. Gilmore, no laps out, mate. Sadly not. You thank a couple of teams on the Tour Series once upon a time for destroying that in the UK scene. And guess what? No laps out on this one. Sadly, mate. If only you could play Silly Watsits on that one. So great to see him moving through. Now looks like Thorpe just having to push in towards the back, and that gap still opening. Mr. Woodall playing a dangerous game. Now we have seen him do this previously, jumping off the back and then going up into the front. But Richard Woodall is in dangerous territory at the moment, because if you don't keep in with that group and stay literally glued to the wheels, you end up in trouble. You can see already 2 riders off the back. They're going to be struggling to get back in. So Jeff Saysel just off the back of the group. And Jeff really is going to have to fight to get into this group. You got Mr. Thorpe about 10 seconds at the road in the main group, 26. Personally, I would jump out, jump on the turbo, smash the living daylights out of the pedals as you press rejoin, and then jump back in again, because you've got 30 minutes to rejoin. If you do that, you'll jump back in with the gang. You can just see Mr. Thorpe just kicking up the hill here as he heads up. Jimmy Allen's already on. Oh, the puns have started already. This is what we love to see. It's Thursday. It's not been Moon Day. Moon Day was Monday. Indeed it was. Oh, brilliant. Already the guys are on the funnies. Loving it. Good to see Craig Herring. Not sure if we ever see the Tuesday. Yeah, very good. Dr. D on the jokes as well. Brilliant to see. So just watching Mr. Herring just dangling around the back of the group. Remember, the aim here is to all pile on that yellow beacon. If you're on the front smashing it up, you're in the wrong ride. Fortunately, nobody's doing that. Just taking a look at the numbers on the front. Everybody's playing the game here. They're all sitting at 1.4s, 1.8s, 1.9s. Not being silly. Absolutely fantastic. So let's take a little bit of a look. Looks like Mr. Fraser is in the gang. Good to see you, mate. I know you're late in through the door. Don't forget, guys, you can always register 25 hours to an hour before if you're just joining a single ride at a time. And we'd much rather that you registered and then didn't make it than didn't register and wanted to make it. We try and get everybody on. A number of people discovering the perils of being a join a single ride at a time is that everybody tries to get onto the ride at the same time as we go through the line. The lap marker out at the side here, you can just see ticking down to 23 laps to go for our riders. However, if you join as a ride, join each individual ride, what you find is that the game will only let so many people in at a time, and you are in that queue to jump on. If you are, however, a member of the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, then you don't have to queue. You get the links before anybody else does, and that means that you will get priority. You can jump in beforehand. So if in doubt, make sure you join the Chain Gang. Get in early. So if you do get the link early because you're a member of the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, join the ride early. it will make life much easier for you because you won't be in that melee of riders joining a ride. Obviously, our priority is to look after the people who keep the chain gang on the road, and those people are our riders who are the members of the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club. They quite literally bankroll the chain gang. Without them, it doesn't happen. So, guys, a massive thank you to them. Nobody's getting rich on it, but basically it just means that we can keep on replacing all the kit that gets damaged. We can keep on replacing all the kit that we keep on breaking, all the burnt out kit. And we also, just as importantly, can manage to keep all the lines in. So the group up and over the top of the sprint section there, going up that climb. And we're just going to work our way through some more of our regular riders in there. Looks like we've got Tim Cooper back in with us. Stefano is in from Nonnas. Let's just drop him in. So Stefano in here had a great ride on Tuesday. It was going very, very well indeed, and good to see Stefano back in the gang. Mr. Malin just on his wheels. Mr. Crease in there, being on the bike as well. You can see so many people using those power-ups, always important. Looks like Mr. Mason nicely in this group. Ian Bale in here. Mr. Ferrin in here. Shelley Charles back with us again. Good to see Mr. Langham back with us. Craig Genther in here. Jimmy Allen in the group. Just watching the back of this group. Everyone just about holding together as they come around this circuit. It's a really tough circuit to hold everyone together, but the back just about holding. Slight gap in the middle of it at the moment as Craig Herring comes sprinting through from the back towards the front at the moment. So we always look forward to seeing the members of the DCG gang rejoining. It does mean that we can look after the riders. It does mean that we can keep on improving the standard of the broadcast and all the kit. Well, you only need to go onto the YouTube channel to see the difference from the very first to the current shows, to see the difference in the broadcast. Also in terms of the quality of the gang, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes to make sure that we have riders on the gang that are going to play the game, that are going to help everybody, that know when to go and when to no. That is really important from the point of view of making sure that the chain gang works smoothly and everybody gets looked after. We really do need to make sure that we have a register of everybody, and there's a lot of time goes into making sure everybody's on there. Same with the Facebook pages. Big job as well. Now, the ride progressing well. Lots of riders making the cut in here. Good to see Bobby Mason in here. Gareth Licenses in as well. Jason Stevens back again. Matt Crease in here. Darren Cooling's back with us. Mark Thorpe in here. Wingy's joined again. Good to see him. Bale back on the gang as well. See if we can join Mr. Bale. He's in here. So you just see at the moment in Bale just ride along nice and smoothly. I think he's got the bear kit on there. He has indeed. Nice bit kit that. I quite like it. It's very subtle. It's very handy when you're racing. People just tend to ignore all the grain, tend to be able to get away quite well with that. It's a good one to race in. Good to see Tom is in here. Tom Wolf, of course. We have multiple Wolves in the gang. So Tom in that red and black of the GCN kit. The nearest to, I think that's going to be Mr. Goddard just behind him. Let's drop some some names and numbers. It is indeed Mr. Goddard alongside there. So Shelley Charles in, Owen Fletcher in the gang, just rolling nicely in the back. Mr. Gately on the back. Sean Ferron in here. Sadler in the group. This, the very fast section here, is definitely a my favourite way around of doing this, is to go sprinting up the steep section of the climb and then have the roller coaster downhill. Not a fan of doing this the other way around, definitely not. So Mr. Woodall just again living dangerously, rolling off on the back. Mr. Langmead, our red beacon, looking good at the moment. This is the man who's charged with holding it all together. All our red beacons are volunteers on the DCG, and got to say a massive thank you to them, and to Gail, who is in charge of looking after them and making sure that they all appear at the right time. 21 laps to go, just flashing by on the lap board. And at the moment, Mr. Langmead just sitting in this group comfortably, just rolling around at the back. So at the moment, the gang all together just coming back and past this right-hand turn. Going to be heading back around the turns of this crit course. 1.9k, remember, every single lap here. So Jimmy Allen, our yellow beacon, aka the Wolf, sat comfortably in here. And I know a lot of people were watching Emma the Boss in action yesterday on the Women's Shake Gang. If you haven't watched it, give it a view on the YouTube channel, on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. Lots of great riders, a real section of pros in there, as well as having lots of new riders as well. Everyone working together until the go. So the laps ticking by, numerous power-ups being used. Looks like Jimmy Allen just rolling it around about 50-52 revs per minute over the top of there, but clearly able to modulate his power very successfully at those revs as they go up and through. I think our fastest time up the premium at the moment is going to be Sonia Inslee at the moment. Just seeing Martin Bolt join us. Good to have Martin back in. The advantages of the Shake Gang having the late joiners, you can jump in a little bit later and join in with the gang. So Martin coming and joining us, and you see Martin's distance at the moment 0.2k compared to 9.4 for everybody else, but Martin just joining that gang a little late. But the advantage of joining is at least you can get in, but make sure you do register or you're a member of the DCG gang. All holding together. They got Neil from the Crosscast just rolling off the back on his new turbo trainer. He wasn't measuring his power by a Stages power crank, now going across to a full-on smart turbo, so we're going to take a little bit of getting used to, I'm sure. Martin just holding the back of the bunch, a real tough ask to jump in lastminute.com and be able to hang on to this group from the start. It is pretty quick. You want to get yourself nicely ensconced in the gang. Well, looks like Jimmy Allen's going for it. The Wolf is getting confident. He's saying if we can stay blobbed up together and not lose riders, we can have a sprint up over the top in a couple of laps' time. That's going to be a great move if we can pull that off. Let's see how these riders get on as they head out on the course. They've got to keep it all together. If the gaps open up, then Jimmy won't call it, and they're going to need to regroup afterwards. But I always think it's a great thing to do when you're on here. Looks like Neil just getting warning of that now, moving his way up towards the front of the group. So it looks like Tom Elliott not making it tonight. So Tom Elliott not making it tonight. Watching on YouTube later on, you're missing a good one, mate. Although I have to say, definitely one if you can sprint over this cobbled climb. Our riders at the moment making their way up that cobbled section of the climb. You're going to see them taking the right-hand turn at the moment. If we just jump in above them, you can just see coming round that right-hand turn, going to go underneath the gantry at the moment. And at the moment, it's snowing down PBs once again on the riders. So the group just starting to get it a little strung together. So some messages just bouncing in and out. Just letting the riders know that it's got to stay tight together if they want to get into the sprint. So real simple. No sprints this lap. Got to get Martin on the back. So Martin Bolt at the moment, 19 seconds off. So ease up comes the shout. So let's see if Martin can get back on again. The group in front are going to need to do some dropping back. He's just pulling second after second back as they go in underneath. Fastest lap of the route now. Looks like we are going to be getting a drop back. So Craig Herring's coming back. Who else is feeling strong tonight? Well, no monies on who it is who has gone back to go catch up with the man at the back. Craig Herring waiting. Keith Richardson dropping to the back. Tim Cooper's dropping back. Looks like Mr. Thorpe is dropping back as well. This is the gang dropping back to bring it all together. And you can just see Jimmy Allen just easing off the pressure. We're going to get everybody back together again. The front nicely slowing off as well. We just see Mr. Bolt absolutely giving it big beans. Here he comes. So let's track him back onto the back of the group. So here we go. Martin Bolt now being picked up. Tim Cooper picking him up. Looks like Gareth Mason picking him up as well. So this is the group starting to reform to bring the gang back together. So Mr. Goddard jumping back as well. He's an absolute star. This is what we really love about the chain gang. So a reminder to stay off the front as the group pulls itself back in and gets itself back together. Mr. Mason just patrolling the back up, and they're going to be bringing the gang back together again. Going to be a regroup at the top. And this is what we love about the chain gang. Everybody just holding the pace, bringing it back together, bringing in the riders who have an issue at the back, and now under orders to bring it round back into yellow. And this is why it's such a good workout. This is why everybody gets it together. You've got to bring the group back in. Key to that, listening to the instructions, staying around yellow. So the aim is to get a fast sprint time on the next lap. To do that, the key is to go from the back. If you're on the front, when you sprint, you're just making a hole for everybody behind you to follow through. If you're at the back of the group, then you will find that you are able to make the most of the group. So slow run into it, big group together. drop to the back if you're going to sprint, and then kick from the back up towards the front. That will give you the fastest time. If anybody is on the front, they will not get a fast time, I'll guarantee it. And it's really simple. You don't even matter if you're Chris Hoy. You're not going to get there. So the call will come from Jimmy Allen. Looks like the gang just nicely starting to pull that group back together again. Just going to get a little bit of a close-up shot from the top. You can just see coming in and around. And yep, there we go. Just starting to blob up nicely here. And jump up over the top. We'll get the drone camera up here. Right, guys, this is going to be only on the signal of Jimmy Allen. Wolf on here. He's going for the brave option. It's all about starting at the back and going to the front. If you start at the front, you will get your backside kicked. It's really simple. Don't be a muppet on the front, be a smart wolf on the back. And you can just see, I'll just take a little look. Cam Fraser's just rolling around the back. Craig Herring is rolling around the back. So it looks like the experienced riders currently sitting on the back of the gang. Let's drop our wave down towards the very back here. See with Tim Cooper now. Cooper's got a good sprint on him. Question is, has he got the pace to get out and around everybody? He's right in the back there. Now you've got Kieran Smith that's sitting on the back as well. Now Kieran definitely has the power to put in a fast time. The question is, who is going to put in the super fast time? We're looking to see it go, and the sprint is on. So you've got to hit it hard before you hit the climb. Here we go. Well, you can see Kieran Smith rocketing through there. Let's see who's got the time. Kieran Smith takes a 13.05. You can see how fast that momentum was. He's gone straight the way through a 13.05. A new personal best on there. A new fastest time by some margin. And as you can see, Kieran now backing right off those pedals to get the group back together. And if we take a little look at the map, you can see the damage it's done, because it is just a roll off here. And you can see the guy's just taking the pressure off, and now the regroup has to start. Mr. Dobson totally off the pedals. Some of the riders just kicking their feet around here, and this is when the group needs to get itself back together again. We're just sat up above watching them make the way down into this 180-degree turn. And they'll be heading out and around the bay. But Kieran Smith there doing the business. 13.05 fast time from Kieran. Master of the sprint on the Donny Chain Gang. So the regroup call coming from Jimmy Allen. We're going to drop back from the front of the group just to have a little look at where those timings are. It's about 25 seconds, in fact, from front to back. So let's just jump in with Mr. Langmead here. This is our red beacon. So as you can see from the top of the map, it is pretty blown out across about 250 meters worth of course. So the guys at the back who've got the legs, time to push up, try and bring with you anyone whose legs are feeling a little bit tough. Loving Mr. Mason's realism, optimism. We'll see. I think we are going to see the gang reform. I have faith in them. So time to get the gang together once again. So if you're at the back, you're aiming for the yellow beacon. If you're at the front, guess what? You're aiming at the yellow beacon too. Lots of our riders watching and listening live simultaneously as having their own screen up. And one of the key things when you're riding in the virtual world, that is Zwift and any of the other esports platforms, you must remember that you need to be able to watch simultaneously at once. It's no good if you don't watch the instructions, if you don't communicate with your teammates, if you're not watching what the group is doing or what the ride leader is doing or the race is doing, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll end up with big problems, because it is going to cause you to do a lot more work, a lot more energy than you necessarily need to. So Now, red and yellow beacons holding the centre of the group. Hopefully, that group now is starting to come back together again as we go up onto the cobbles. So you can just say as we come into that bend, that group all coming up together here. And it certainly looks like a very fast time of there. Sonia Inslee with a 24.33 at the moment, the fastest women's time, a fast time. That's 24.33. The fastest men's time was Kieran Smith as he came up and through there last we saw, but just got to wait till that ticks and resets itself. Just seeing at the moment these riders making their way down the straight, and the gang pretty much in one piece, not too strung out at the moment. So just going to take a little bit of check. I think the power up that hill, and Martin just feeling that pace as he comes up over the top. Time for Martin to push back into the gang. We got a time check of the laps to go as we come down towards the line. First look at it hopefully will be before we get there, which means we get a little bit of a sneaky look back. It's going to be 16 laps to go at the line this time. 16 laps to go at the line this time. So you just see Martin Bolt here just trying to work to get into the back of that pack. You'll see the lap board up for Martin. Tick, there we go, 16. It looks like Greg Pilsworth just dropping back to give Martin a hand here. So could be a call for a few people just to drop back, give a Martin a pull back on to the group here. Looks like Keith Richardson dropping back, Tim Cooper, Jimmy Allen on the back of that pack. So guys, if you're in that main pack, we could do with a little bit of a nudge up from the back to the front. We could do with a pack there to just give them some assistance. Looks like Tom Lindley's doing the business and just dropping. So good running, Tom Lindley just dropping back, one of our youngsters. Tom Lindley, son of Wolf, making his way up here. So it's like Mr. Goddard just jumping in with this pack. This is the group who's got to drag the group back together again. Nice big pack of riders. So loving the gang having multiple Toms, getting people confused, which is brilliant. That's what we want to see. So it's like Craig Gensler just making contact at the back. Craig Herring in the mob here. That climb does start to test the legs repeatedly. Looks like the man at the moment off the back is certainly Mr. Gareth Mason, who should have the pace to get himself on the way through. So just watching Mason chase his way on to the back at the moment. So Kieran with a 13.05, the fastest speed up there. This group nicely back together again. Just having a little bit of a look. There seems to be a little bit of a split in the front group, according to the map. So the front group at the moment clearly not watching what the main pack are doing, and just stretching it out slightly. Need to just pay attention to their back wheels, press the 6 button and look behind, or even better, look up at the map, and you'll see that split in the group. The guys working to regroup. Remember, if when the trigger goes, there is a gap and a split in the gap, we will be looking at the centre section. Tim Cooper, we are on a V3 of the draft. He's asking if there are a different algorithm. We've not been here since the V3 draft was working with the group of riders, and it has reduced in the jumping around, the riding through in between people, and it does mean that the group is far more realistic, less jumping over the top of people or through people, and the V3 draft definitely the case that it's going to work really, really well. Now, looks like we've got a few of our regulars just nicely pushing along here. Been joined once again by Ruby Isaac. Good to see Ruby back with us. Hoping to see Ruby on the Women's Only Wednesdays as well. And looks like nicely in here. Oh, Jimmy Allen giving everybody a workover. Ruby, no pressure, but you might have to put a big kick up this. I reckon you can take the women's time up there for a little while. The gang just working well together. I don't think anybody biting off Jimmy's hand for another sprint on here. Time ticking on, we're at 21k at the moment. Everybody seems to have the energy to talk. Just looks like Neil just out of the game a little bit further back at the moment, just dead in the water. Kieran Smith just rolling up the back of the pack. So, riders are looking good. Heading down into towards the turn just on that roller coaster section of road. We jump up in the 8 and just see making that turn and heading down on to the straight. If we jump down in with Kieran, hopefully we get a bit of a view up of the section. Just doing a little bit of mad drone work just to get us across. So it is 14 sprints, 14 laps to go, and it looks like gonna be another sprint. So I think this is going to be a big kick here. Kieran Smith has actually gone on to the front this time, interestingly. He's the man who's got that fastest time of 13.05, the time to beat. He's going to want to drop to the back because you need the whole pace on the way through. Looks like Goddard just dropping to the back of the group. Just keeping an eye on these riders just as they roll around here, just seeing who's making the way towards the back. And we're going to be a right and then a left. So we've got one right, we've got two lefts, then it's the right-hand turn onto the cobbles. So looks like Neil is going to take a lap. Just wait for the group to come on. Neil, they'll come on to you fast. Be warned. I suspect this is going to be very fast up this hill. So the sprint sign has gone. Is anybody going to be able to improve on their time this time round? Time for the big kick. Here we go. Oh, Kieran Smith going through with a 12.65. So Kieran putting in a faster time, that time of 12.65. No pressure, guys, but I wouldn't want to be towing him if you ever wanted an indicator of who not to tow to the finish. And that's your indicator. Okay, so regroup time for everybody. We're going to roll our way back through this group and try and work our way back down towards our red and yellow beacons. As you can see, quite a long way down towards the rear at the moment. Just looking to see where Neil is just out on course. He's not all that far away from seeing these guys. So regroup time for our riders as they make their way down in towards the turns. So blob up and recover. So just watching Richard at the moment, just start holding the back of the group, just start holding the pace all together. It is absolutely blown to pieces at the moment. That sprint just kicking the group apart. However, it's going to get back together again, I'm sure. So the leader's already around that left turn. So let's see the gang coming in. So let's see how close it can get this back together again. So John Garfoot, Tom Wolfo, and Fletcher Guys, easy Tigers. Time to back off the pace, let the gang come back together again. Ignore Neil, he's one lap down. So Neil one lap down on everybody. He's actually up. It looks like he's up the road. He's not. Tom, Mr. Young, Mr. Wolf, John Garfoot, Kieran, easy guys. We've got a bit of a gap in this group. Just starting to come together here. I'm going to get this drone up in the air and give everybody a better look of where everybody is. So hopefully everybody's legs are starting to recover a little from those couple of sprints. That leading group still with a little bit of a gap in the group. So Tim Cooper just rolling in. It looks like Chris Darby just needing to put a bit of a push on here. Come on, Chris. Get in the back of that pack. Don't let them roll away from you. A moment's attention. You could be in trouble here. So Chris Darby at the moment just having to really put the pace on. He's got to get after these riders. They're already heading the climb. So Chris Darby doing the business today, getting himself into the pack there. Sean, come on, mate. Time to just push into the back of the pack. Sean Ferrer just sitting on the back of the pack after that climb up there on the aero disc there. Looking like he's got it all together. Look, good to see Andrew Watson in the pack. Andrew, of course, was our red beacon on Tuesday. And the gang all starting to pull back together again. So basically all the names still back in here. It's looking really good at the moment. The only man out is actually Neil Mansfield, who's off the back, but about to get caught by the front. So the lone rider up there. And they're going to get up close and personal. So he's due to see this lot approaching at some speed. So after all that sprinting, looks like Jimmy Allen is still got his heart rate around about 126. So really easy. The lap board will count down the laps to go. We don't finish a lap early. We did think about it once upon a time. We just decided it just wasn't worth it. So we finish at this orange banner, and that will be in 12 laps time. 12 laps time. The group basically all together, just seeing one or two riders starting to feel the pace. I think Ruby Isaac just being distanced here at the back of the pack. So good to see Ruby holding that pack for so long. So the group just about to make contact with Neil, who's taking a lap out because of mechanical issues. It doesn't mean he finished a lap early, it just means he's got to make his way through. Now, so Craig Herring just messaging up. Bad news is, mate, because you don't get messages on the kids' account. So I'm not going to see your messages. Hadn't had any of my coffee. That was terrible. Have now. Yeah, Neil's definitely not trying to get a head start. He's off the back, so Neil going to get swept up by this mob. Just going to take a little roll down the back. So the ramp up starting now. So just seeing Matt Gilmore just rolling about the back of this pack now. Now this is where things get scary. So Chris Idell here, looks like Tim Leary nicely rolling it in here. Shelley Childs in there, Stefano Borelli in there, Craig Jeff in there, Tom Lindley in the gang. Sonia Inslee in here as well. Let's take a quick check. Sonia in the traditional black kit on the green bike. One of the Bolsover District riders. So the pace being pushed up on the very front of the group. Remember our yellow beacon, the Wolf himself, Jimmy Allen, just asking for a little more pace, up to 3 watts per kilo. And looks like everybody pretty much holding it together around Jimmy. See Steve Hilbert's back in here as well. Now it's going to be, if I'm not much mistaken, it's going to be 11 laps to go. Look at this camera rolling, hard to see with all the ride-ons coming down, the confetti coming out. Yep, 11 laps left to go. More personal best times around here, 3 minutes and 3 for most of the riders this time round. And you can just see the gaps start to open at the back of the group as the pace is pushed up to 3 watts per kilo on the front. And it now means that we're starting to get gaps opening up behind. So the gaps opening up, looks like Chris Idell, Shelley Childs, Stefano Borelli, Steve G, Martin Bolt, all feeling the pressure. Tim Leary feeling the pressure here. They're all off the back, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. As Jimmy Allen says, no panic. No panic, don't panic, Captain Mannering. It won't do you any good. You're just burning nervous energy for no good reason. The only person who knows where it's going to go is Jimmy Allen. And even he probably doesn't know quite where he's going to set it going. I don't. Despite our conversations, never get to find out exactly where it's going to go. I do regularly have messages flying backwards and forwards. It's not just the commentary that you hear. Also have messages all the way through. So our riders are keeping it smooth at the moment. The gang just about holding together. We've got a few people starting to be distanced off the back, as you'd expect when the front is pulling up to 3 watts per kilo. The pressure just coming on. Remember, Jimmy Allen, our beacon, just riding smoothly in with this group. So all about keeping that chain tight, all about riding on in with the group, keeping it nice and close together. Threading in with Dobson at the moment. Looks like Matt Gilmore nicely in this group as well. We're coming down towards the line, remember. This is where it is going to get tricky. We are riders coming in and through. They see 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go. 2:52. So nicely ramping up here. Remember, it was a 3:03 last time, a 2:52 this time. The pace is getting higher and hotter. Getting more and more people starting to feel that lactic acid really is going to start to take its toll. So does Mr. Richardson just completed his weekly distance goal. So the gang riding well together. Not quite as good as the women's gang, but pretty close. Jimmy Allen putting in 2 sprints in Crit City. That is some going and getting regroups back together again. The Wolfies definitely got the pack under control. Absolutely amazing stuff from Jimmy. Great communication, as we know Jimmy's capable of. Onto the climb we go. So just watching Matt Gilmore come up over the top. No point me talking whilst we hit the cobbles. And the go, go, go has gone. There we go. It was, we said nobody knew what it was going to be but Jimmy, and Jimmy has pressed the button. He's ignited the burners. There's not much time, not much distance left to go at the moment. Got to remember, Matt Gilmore's only just jumped in with us. So let's jump across to another rider who we know has been in from the start. Vin Donahue at the moment. He's got the hammer down. 31k covered. And there's not much left. It's only about 8k. We're going to hit the line with 9 laps to go, and this is absolutely frantic. You can just see behind this group they are absolutely strung out. So our riders all over the place now, and our leading group here with Chris Iredale nicely in this group. Vin Donahue putting in a good old shift here. Here comes the Wolf himself, the pack leader, the alpha male. Up he comes. It is Jimmy Allen nicely in this pack, and Jimmy waiting to press that button. 2 sprints in the game as well. The lap counter goes 9 laps to go. Big pack. Remember, our riders didn't start getting shelled pretty much till about 12 laps to go. That is good going, and that is some great recovery, some great pulling it back together again. Now, this is where we see who's going to get the time pulled out. Where are those gaps going to open? You can just see a real battle behind. Once that gap opens, you see that group just detaching itself off the back as they come underneath the street art here, and they all have to get in with the bunch. The new V3 draft, much better on here. You can see our riders not bobbling from side to side, not moving around, and still sitting nice and comfortably in the groups. So looks good at the moment. Question is, who is going to take this out? They are working well as they come up here. Jimmy Allen, Lindis, who just putting a lap into Ruby. Ruby just holding that group quite nicely until about 12, 13 laps to go. Is some going as Ruby, the youngster, does that. So over the top of the climb they go, and it looks to me like Fraser is the rider just kicking on at the front. We're going to try and get up to him. Just that minor tech bounces about on the way through here. So as you can see, Fraser on the front. So Cam Fraser on the front, Kieran Smith in there. Greg Booker now coming up to the front. Booker, the man who we've seen take victories already. He's up there. Craig Genther's in there. Bosman's in there. Looks like Tom Lindley just in nicely in this group. Saytel's in here. Morn's in the group. Behind it looks like Crease fighting to get in the wheels. Shelley Charles just holding the back of this pack. Dave Ambrose. Come on, Dave. Big kick, mate. Got to get in here. if you're not on these wheels, you are going to start to feel it. You are going to get a kick in here as you come down. You cannot afford to be off the group. Ambrose just making contact in that black kit with the green and red on the back there, but you can just see behind everybody is fighting to get in the gang. Looks like Goddard just about making it. So here we go, underneath the line we go, 8 laps to go. Fraser it is, who is on his way round, leading this out. Over the top of Fraser comes Osman at the moment. Chris Iredale. Chris is looking really, really good. Good to see Andy Ross is back with us as well. Andy, one of our regulars on a Thursday. So Michael Hutchinson in here. Coos looks from the Stellaton, the gang who helped us out with prices for our Tour de France tribute. Got in this group nicely. Just still seeing Craig Herron and Craig Genther on the front in that Downing cycling kit. Booker in the blue, rolling around on the front. Osman on the front as well. Round these turns they go. Once again, Dan Hepton's in here. You can see Tom in here as well. Altaf Hussein, he's riding strongly as well. He's right in this pack. So Altaf clearly benefiting. I think Gilmore's just gone hard over the top there. Just going to get a double check as they go through the top of the climb, because the pressure has gone on the front. I'm just going to try and roll our way up there. Fraser going after him, but it is Gilmore who's gone. So Fraser here trying to chase down Gilmore. Gilmore's in front of him, but this is Fraser. Altaf, don't go blowing now that I'll put you on telly, mate. That's no good. So at the moment, Thorpe, Hepton, Mason, Kieran Smith trying to get onto Fraser's wheel. Fraser and Gilmore. Now that is a quality pairing. And you can just see 93, 106 revs per minute as the roller coasters kicking the revs up and down. 181 beats per minute. Come on, Cam. Let's get some more wheels in. We want to see some attacking races. This is what we want to see. These riders really pushing it now. So Fraser on the wheels of Gilmore. Round the turn they go behind them. The gang is coming. You can see they're going to be on their heels here, and it's a huge mob that have joined them. And this is really going to mix it all up at the front. We go through with 7 laps to go. 7 laps to go here on the Donny Chain Gang. So Andy Ross is third wheel. Chris Iredale right up on the front here. Still got Craig Genther in here. Now Jimmy Allen rolls his way up towards the front as Fraser rolls nearer to the back. We've got a few right-handers. Looks like we're about to catch up with the team. It's going to be coming up on to our red beacon. He's literally just around this turn. There he is. So this is where things get interesting, because as the group comes in, this is where you've really got to have your wits about you. If you're not on the ball, you will end up in trouble. So just jumping in with Jimmy as we come up and through. Keep an eye on this group as they come up on the other riders. They've got to stay with it as they come up on to the climb. You can see Jimmy Allen's well aware of that fact. On he goes. So looks like they just about cleanly went over the top there. Just keeping an eye. Craig Genther just rolling around, just going around Ted Cass straight across that gap there as they come through at the moment. So it is going to be the gang right onto the top. This is where it's going to be quick. Well, at the moment, Cass it is who's just stringing this out on the front. He's got a gap, and they are starting to pull people away from the back. Now, Gilmore's on the back, and he's only just holding the back of this group Jimmy Allen in the pack here. Michael Hutchinson in here. Looks like Chris Iredale still nicely in this group. Mr. Varty in here as well. Mason is in this group. Andy Ross in here. Tom Lindley in the pack. Still got Mr. Fraser in here. Time is ticking out for people to make a move. Looks like Neil Morn just pushing on from the Stellaton onto the back. And they're going to hit 6 laps to go. There goes the lap board as on to the back comes Gilmore now. So this is our leading group. Still a big pack of riders. They do need to separate this down a little bit. This is a big group to take to the finish. It's very, very dodgy, pulling absolutely everybody into the finish. Not what you want to do, particularly if you've got a good kick to go up the climb. So it may well be somebody like Fraser, or it's going to be Kieran Smith attacking on the climb rather than leaving it to that final sprint. But this is our leading group. Osman in this leading pack. Thorpe in here as well. Kooslugs, Fraser, Iredale just rolling on the front. Second wheel is Kieran Smith. We're going to take the left turn around this corner. You'll see the riders all around the circuit now as we are running in with Craig Genther. Craig in that Downing Cycling top here, just sitting on the side here. Tom Hepton moving up to the front now. Hepton in that grey jersey with the Swift Z. So it looks like Cass again looking so strong in this. At the moment, they're coming up on a lot of back markers. This gives the advantage to those on the front. So if you watch these riders, you can just see Cass here. He's getting assistance every time he catches up with the rider. He gets aero assistance there. He's going to get more aero assistance when he gets joined by this group. This little group on the front are going to get assistance every time they come up behind a rider. This is what makes it really hard to race this circuit as well as to ride. But this is the leading group. You can just see just coming around and through our leaders, this big pack of riders all together. Well, Cass has been looking strong every time he goes over. So just seen Hutchinson come into the front. Kooslugs there. Varty making his way in. But this pack are riding so strongly here. And the pace is absolutely mental here. They're going to come screaming round this turn. Absolutely flat out at the moment, and you can just see picking off riders in ones and twos. Remember, it's only a 1.9k circuit, so you come up on riders very quickly. Now it's going to be 5 laps to go. 5 laps left to go for our leaders coming round this turn. Again, sweeping around the riders. If you've got the kick, you can try and jump in. Good luck with that one, because they are so hard to jump in with once this pace going up, and looks so fast on here. Now Iredale from Fellaskin on the front once again. Just trying to stretch this out. You can just see Hepton right on his heels there. Then just watching Genther coming up on the side here. Now, who's going to be your money on this one? Just jumping in with Kieran Smith. Kieran with the flat cap on there. Not doing too much work. He's had the fastest sprint time up that hill twice. The question is, can he then make it stick as you go over the top? Has he burnt all of his matches, to use that very old and hackneyed commentary phrase? As you see the leaders coming round this turn. Mason is fairly quiet at the moment. The rider with the grey disc back wheel and the all black kit. Just rolling at the back of the group now. Just seeing Jimmy Allen up onto the cobbles. So Lindley's gone hard over the top this time. Lindley looking to try and stretch this out. Looks like Hepton just putting a little kick in there just to keep these gaps down. And it's just behind the front of this pack. You just see Lindley in the green and gold just off the front of the bunch here. Behind, though, you can just see the gaps open. You can't close them down. But this group very well matched at the moment. Osman just rolling around at the back of the group. Lindley at the front. Onto this descent they go. So more groups being caught by our leaders. This makes things really tricky indeed for our leaders to keep control as they come in and through. At the moment, Chris Iredale is our leader on the road. He's just opened a little bit of a gap, but they're quickly all over him here. Steve Gately, second wheel at the moment, still continues to push. Round they go. Iredale just getting swallowed up by that group. Time ticking away. 4 laps to go at the line this time. Shelley Charles in here. Gilmore in here. Really is a who's who of the Donny Chain Gang. Fast riders. 4 laps to go. Who's it going to be? So Chris from Velaskin back on the front of the group once again and keeping this moving fast. Kuslugs in here as well. You want to part of the action? Well, don't forget the easiest way to get on is to join the Donny Chain Gang Sports Club DCG Gang. And then we'll send you all of the links through. You don't have to remember to join. You don't have to remember to register. You just do a membership of the Supporters Club. That means that you're supporting us, and in return, well, we'll look after you. We make sure that you get all of the links, the ride details first. You get great offers from people like Velaskin, from Chris here, and all of our fantastic supporters like Ian Taylor at 1080, OTE, Gritty, you name it, they all are there looking after the members of the DCG Gang. We're going to hit this climb once again. Remember, time ticking down. Who's your money on this climb? Because this is where the kicks go. So once again, Cass on the front using that lightweight feather flag just to push from the back to the front. And, it's certainly been said the best form of defence is attack, and that was it's definitely one of my favourite tactics on there. If you get anything that you can use, kick it hard and kick it up that climb, then hold the back of the pack if they do catch up with you. Chris comfortably in here as well. Don't forget, of course, if you don't have the funds to join the gang, the Chain Gang always free. There's always a way on to the Chain Gang free. You can just register for a single ride. And don't forget, of course, that's the case for the women's only Wednesdays as well. Now, just watching this group jump past people. The time gaps do jump about a little bit on this course. It is not the easiest one to follow, it has to be said. But at the moment, this group all together coming round that turn. Jimmy Allen nicely in this pack. Hepton's in here now. Just seeing a little bit of a move here as we're just seeing a push up to the front. Gately moving up here. Cass on the front, though. Then it's going to be Osman in third wheel. So it's Cass as they come through that time. The lap board ticking down, 3 to go. Nobody yet being dislodged from this group. Now, we've seen riders go at 3 laps to go. We've seen them go at 2 laps to go. It's very hard to go at 1 lap to go because everybody has enough left in their legs to take this down. So if you're an attacking rider, an aggressive rider like Greg Booker here, then you need to kick it in hard, and you can't afford to do it too late because basically everybody's got one final kick up there. Now, big bunch in front. This is going to mess about with the dynamics. It's very realistic. If you've ever been out on a course, or you've ridden anything like a team time trial, and you come up against another team, or you're out and racing and you're about to lap a bunch of lap riders, or you've been on the track and done it, you'll know it can cause absolute carnage. And we're expecting the same thing to happen each time we come through these riders, each time we come through a gap. And you can just see the gap starting to open in the middle of this pack. You've got to push up because you're going to get the draft on there. So Jimmy Allen well aware of that. He's right up on the front. Just seeing Matt Gilmore, Cam Fraser up there, Booker's up there as well. Hepton's right in the mix. Varty's in the mix as well. We're just in with Fraser now. So this is Fraser up on the front, just rolling around Ruby there as they come around on her left-hand side. You just see these riders now chasing Cam. Cam putting a bit of a kick up there. He's still holding 6.5 watts per kilo. Can Fraser hold them off? He's got a little bit of a gap. I think this one might shed some of the riders at the back of the pack. Kieran Smith makes it across. Craig Genther makes it across. Greg Booker has made it across. More riders now giving assistance to our 4 breakaway riders. Jimmy Allen, though, Gareth Mason, all bringing this back together again. And the group has been whittled down at the moment. Tom Lindley in danger of being a distance here. Shelley Childs the same. You just see Childs coming onto the back of the group. Lindley the same. Remember, time ticking away. 2 laps left to go. 2 laps left to go. Absolute mad stuff at the moment from these riders. Chris Iredale gets back across. Cass has made the junction. And you can just see they all want to be on the front. Nobody wants to be caught out when they catch up with another group. Next riders are a little bit further down the line at the moment, so this is going to be tricky if you're not up near the front. Remember, we're on 2 laps to go. It has been done. Riders have kicked clear from here into the finish. It's not an easy task. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Lindley nicely in the back of the group there, just sitting on and not want to do too much damage. Mr. Hepton, I think, just taking a little bit of a breather at the back there as Genther moves up on to the wheels of Chris Iredale. Shelley Childs back in this pack. Booker sitting 3rd wheel. So at the moment it's Genther and Iredale on the front. Jimmy Allen, Cam Fraser, Greg Booker on the heels. Gareth Mason now moving up. Mason moves up into 3rd wheel this time as they come onto the cobbles. So Gilmore's got early. Gilmore has gone for this. You can just see him riding away up on the front. They've got to respond to this. So it's Gilmore who's got the gap, the rider underneath the banner now. This is where the response has to come, and it's Mason who's leading the charge, the rider in black, who is pushing on with that disc wheel at the moment. You can just see Kieran Smith just rolling up with Dan Hepton there, and Gareth Mason, the man who's gone on the offensive. It is going to be a young Matt Gilmore who's gone for this. Gilmore at the moment with the gap. You can see the riders behind him. So Gilmore now is going to have about 2.5k to hold them off, a 2.5k effort. It's a sub 3 minute lap. This is where you've got to really push on or hope that you've broken them up enough that you've got the legs to go with them. Once again, Genther's keeping on pushing to get back onto his heels once again. So Gilmore leading. Genther coming up onto his heels here. So as they go through, they're going to come around this corner here. It's going to be 1 lap to go on the line this time. Now Chris Iredale from Felliskin goes up on the front. The Wolfie's still in here. But can he make sure and he can assert his authority as he gets into the finish? Not sure he can. 1 lap left to go. Fraser, Mason, Iredale, Gilmore, Booker, Smith. We've got Farthing, we've got Charles in here, we've got Hepton, we've got Tom Lindley in the group, we've got Cam Fraser in here. Trying to remember everybody who's in this group. It really is a good pack of riders here. Craig Genther just rolling in the middle now, and it looks to me like Fraser is either sitting back waiting to go or his legs have gone pop. Not sure which. Time is running out. This is not long left to go now. This is going to get really, really difficult to predict as the riders come in towards the finish here. So, taking the right-hand turn. We've got left, right, left, right, left, right coming up. So it's going to come down to what happens on this climb. We've got 1 more kick up this hill. Who's your money on? Gilmore's gone once already. Who's got the big sprint? Who's got something left in the tank? That's going to come from somebody in this leading group. Onto the climb they go. This is it. This is where somebody has got to make the move. You can see everybody is nailing it on the way up here. Kieran Smith vying for the front with Dan Hepton here. Hepton pushes on, but Craig Genther is going to hold this group together as they go over the top here. So Hepton is in here. Craig Genther is in here. A lot of them together. This is going to come down to a downhill sprint into that last turn. This is going to be tricky. It looks like Jimmy Allen is right in there as well. Now we're going to try and stay with them as they come into the line and over the line. Then we're going to try and jump back across to the riders behind. Not very easy to do, but keep your fingers crossed that the tech works and we manage to jump our way in. At the moment, you can just see Iredale now on the front here. He's the rider who is just taking it out on the front of the group, but they are all together here. This is going to come down to who's got the legs, who's got anything left in that sprint. Now just seeing Gilmore winding it up. He's got Mason on his heels here. So here we go. The sprint is opened up. They don't need to worry about getting around the corner. They'll get round it. The question is who's got the legs to do it. It looks like Mason's just got the hold at the moment. Mason at the moment. Gilmore's pushes, but Gilmore sits up and it goes to Mason. He comes through. Jimmy Allen coming through with Fraser Hepton, Charles all coming through. Iredale comes through in that group. We are going to work our way back now. This is where it gets really entertaining on our way into the line. Sonia Inslee has definitely got one more lap to go, which means we're going to jump back to Mr. Dickinson, who's on his way around. But I think if we drop back, our next finisher, easier said than done this bit, is going to be Mr. Gately here, Steve G, doing a great ride there. He's going to finish when he hits the line this time. Fantastic riding, big sprint from him. Just behind him, we're just seeing Osman just going to take this sprint. I think he's going to be ahead of Kooslugs. Kooslugs just coming in behind him as he comes into the line. We're then going to drop back a little bit further. These riders have still got a lap to go as they come into the line, which means that we're still looking for our next finishers. It is going to be, I think, from this group, because we've got Vin Donahue on the front with this group. There's nobody in the group in front of him who hasn't got to go back out once again. So at the moment, Donahue could be our next finisher. He needs to get a move on, though, because that group behind will catch him. And the group going through the line at the moment all has to go out for another lap once again. So Donahue's got a kick here. Come on, Vin, time to give it a boot, mate. They're going to come for you. You can just see Woodall behind, Herring's behind, Morn's in there, Tim Cooper's behind. They've all got a big sprint, and they are all going to be coming fast. You know they've only got to get around that turn. You need to be kicking before you get into the turn. You kick on the turn, it's too late. Here they come. Ambrose now goes for it. It's going to be Ambrose who's going to come into the line first. Donahue gets mobbed here. Pillsworth coming through. Looks like Altaf in. Coming through as well. Woodall comes through that group. License in with that group as well. We are just going to jump back. This is going to be our next group of finishers. Malin is going to be just in front. He's got Clark on his heels here. Richardson goes through the line. Malin, Clark, Garfoot, Beard on a bike. Raccoon comes through. Taylor coming through. I'm just going to jump back once more because we need to find our next finishers a little bit further back. These riders going back out and round again. Going back to Wing, he's got at least another lap to go. Sonny with another lap to go, which means I think, if I'm right, it's going to be a Richards group who's the next group due to finish out on the course. Famous last words. Let's get the old map up and running. Let's see how many groups are in front. 2 groups in front. So here we go, up onto the climb for the last time for these riders. Big kick coming from Carl Johnson up on the front here. So Johnson with cooling on his wheels at the moment. Have they done enough to damage this group, enough to break clear? Will the group be able to pull them back? Paul Coleman working hard here. And just seeing Coleman's numbers right up there. He gets that feather flag in on that last little rise there. So these 3 riders should be our next riders coming in to finish at the line this time. At the moment, it's Coleman on the front, Cooling chasing behind, Johnson on his heels, Farron's not all that far behind. They can all sprint, these riders. We know they've got a big kick on them. The question is, can Coleman stay clear? This is the chase behind. Now comes Farron. Farron just rolling down onto the wheels here of Coleman. This is dangerous for Coleman because Farron's got a kick, so has Carl Johnson. It's going to come from between these 4 riders. Our next finisher, Johnson in here in that Dayglow sprint, but the sprint is starting. Our riders winding it up, and it's going to be Farron who's going to come into it first. So Farron comes in first. You've got to have some legs left now to go hard. Farron goes, but Cooling comes over the top. Cooling kicking hard here, so it's going to be Cooling, then Farron, then Johnson coming through Coleman, and then it's going to be a Beadling. Good ride by Beeling, then Wolf, Stevens, Bobby Mason on his way in. He's got Steve Hilbert and Ken Kerrigan. So Steve Hilbert's going to finish this time round. Kerrigan going out for another lap. We're just going to drop back a little bit here. We are looking for big numbers up here, and I think Wingy, who is just coming up over the top, will finish on the line this time round. Neil looks to me like he's going to finish this time round. So Neil lost a lap to the leaders early on, but Neil around that turn, and he's going to see that gantry lined up in front. Here we go. And I think if my maths is right, we're going to see Neil finishing as he hits the line this time. Dropouts from the man from Gritty, and massive thank you to Caroline and to Neil for all of their support of the Chain Gang riders. So just keeping an eye on our riders coming in towards the line now. So Langmead is going to have to go out a red beacon going back out again. Andy Scothen, though, should finish when he hits the line this time. So Andy from the Chain Gang just on his way over these roller coasters. We're just taking a little bit of a look. Wingy should be just in front. Here we go. So Wingy is also going to finish on the line. So it's Wingy at the moment leading it out. Behind him you can see Scotland. Now Scotland comes. Scotland kicking hard here. Wingy's responding to it. But look at Scotland go. Who put nitrous in his tanks? He's absolutely killing it here. And Wingy can't answer it behind. It looks to me like Wolf is going to be our next rider in. So Wolf going out. He's got another lap to go, which means it should be Sir Rodney on his way in here. So Rodney is going to be our next rider finishing as he comes down to the line. So Rodney comes in and through the line just ahead of Stefano Borelli. Borelli comes in and through. We are just going to drop back to our riders behind and jump back on to the course. Now this should give us an indication of just who is out there at the moment. So Dickinson is currently chasing Sonia Inslee. Inslee should have a lap to go at the line, I think. Famous last words. But Dickinson should be our next finisher. So nice socks weight. Not sure they go with anything at all. Like the colour, but not sure they actually match anything else on the bike. Got to get some coordination there. Nice gloves and helmet matching on the way through. So Dickinson dropping down here, coming in to that turn. Sonia is going to be going back out and around, but Dickinson will finish. Come on, mate. Big kick time in towards that line. Dickinson, the next rider who's going to come in to the line here. So Dickinson finishing as he hits the line this time. Behind him then it's going to be Ken Kerrigan. Just going to drop in with Kerrigan here. So Kerrigan should be our next finisher. He's just on his way around this turn. He's got Leary behind him. But the gap is about 49 seconds. So Ken Kerrigan will finish as he hits the line from Chefret. Good driving by him, a man who's never allowed to take the red beacon because he does bus driving for a living. That would be very, very mean. Although he don't do an amazing job. Our next riders out on course, well, that is going to be this group of 4 riders at the moment. And so make the way in and through. So great riding. We do have a number of riders on multiple laps, which makes things very entertaining indeed. Good to see Ruby jumping in with this group, using the draft, which is great skills. That's what we want our youngsters to learn when they're out on the course. I'm going to try and lay my hands on Jimmy as soon as this group come in and through the line. Always difficult to pin a Wolf down and have a chat with them. Never the easiest thing in the world to do, but we're going to watch this group come in through the line, and then I think we're going to see Ruby out for at least one more lap, I think, at that point, at which point we'll jump in with Jimmy as Ruby completes that last lap. So Beacon coming in here, doing a great job here. Mr. Langmead yet again. Our volunteers doing the business. Tim Leary sprinting in to the finish. Martin Bolt on his way in, remember, a late joiner. And then Mr. Langmead coming in. We're going to jump in with Ruby, who is heading out. He's going to have a lap to go. Not our last finisher by any stretch of the imagination, because our Beacon is out there and our commentary beacon in there. We are going to try and jump in with Jimmy Allen. Always an entertaining moment, this, where the guys have got anything left in the legs. So, Jimmy, are you there? Are you in one piece?
Yeah, I am, Matt.
Are you all
Just
right,
recovering.
mate?
Yeah.
It was
Mate. It's
fast, wasn't it?
very fast. Yeah. Well, it was quite good. Like an outdoor real life race. It was sort of a bit cagey at times, and people recovering and then going full gas up that climb, and then a few laps people were trying to get away on the downhill. So it was really interesting. Really sort of kept you captivated all the way around. So it was good ride.
Yeah, and 2 sprints as well, mate. You've got to be really proud of that because it's not every day we manage to get a couple of sprints in on the way through the course in Crit City. So great control, and the gang were good. I mean, this is the advantage. I mean, people do sometimes miss the cut-offs, but it allows us to make sure that everybody on the gang wants to play the game and play it in the right way.
Exactly, and I was sort of thinking just sort of leave the go till a bit later and throw the sprints in because everybody been riding so well. And obviously it keeps people interested. It gives them a bit of a quality effort, and then everybody wins, don't they? So yeah, it worked out pretty well, and again, great gang. Really looked after me. So yeah, straightforward. Thankfully.
Yeah, definitely. Although I'm sure you're going to be looking forward to getting back to just riding, and not having to worry about everybody next week.
Yeah,
and,
it's nice. So like I say, it's nice. It's very nice to be trusted with it's a great responsibility, so I appreciate that. But yeah, it was slightly nerve-wracking, but it's been plain sailing, really, thanks to everybody else.
Yeah, and we good to see so many young riders on as well, and so many new riders. Matt Gilmore having a few big digs on those hills on his way through. Good to see him attacking so hard, and just watching Ruby on her way round now. So it looks like Ruby over the top of the climb, and of course Ruby Isaac, one of the young stars, a bit like Xander Graham, one of the future riders, and the chain gang is for everyone, isn't it? It's for whether you're brand new at the game, whether you're an older rider, whether you've been around forever, whether you're fast or slow. The whole point is that the gang is there to keep everybody entertained all the way through the winter, isn't it?
That's it, and that's why it's so successful because, week in, week out, everybody's looked after. If somebody gets dropped off the back sort of early on, we all sort of club together. Somebody notices, there's messages go around and we look after each other. And then obviously at the end, it's like I keep saying, it's a bit of a tear up, but before that, it's social. Everybody's telling jokes, and it's great. Yeah, like I say, everybody's included, and old, young, racers, people who just want to get fitter. It's just it is the best event on Zwift. I mean, I know you might say that, but I've done quite a lot of events over the time I've been on it, and it's by far the best. And it is similar people every week, but still, for it to be so successful and people keep coming and it's growing, and it's a victim of its own success in some ways because we have hundreds of riders, but it's still all good, and it'll always be a success thanks to you and Russ. So it's been good.
No, it's a combination of absolutely everybody who rides it, and got to say a big thank you to you and to all of the guys who just make it happen and join in, week out. Just seeing Ruby go through the line, they're good riding by Ruby Isaac, who you can just see sits up and free wheels. We're going to let you free wheel your way to go get a cold one because I'm sure there's going to be a recovery drink coming your direction. So great stuff, mate. Well done, and
Thanks,
we'll
mate.
catch up with you next week.
Nice one, mate. Yeah, thanks again, Paul. It was a great week.
No, great to see. Thank you very much, buddy. So great to catch up with Jimmy Allen. Our riders now are warming down. So don't forget, we've got lots more riding still to come on the Chain Gang. We're here every Tuesday, every Thursday on the Open Chain Gang, open to everybody. We're also around. We've got Women's Only Wednesdays, led by Emma, the boss. Russ is back. The bear is back on a Tuesday. We've got Tuesdays open with Russ. We've got the Thursdays are open with Russ. We've got the Women's Only Wednesday DCG. Wow, DCG style. Anyone who wants to jump on there, any of the women and the female riders, jump on and have a ride. It is run under the same format. We get a huge amount of pros. Got to say a massive thank you to the female pro peloton, the guys from the Pro Noctis team, from the CAMS team, all coming on and supporting it. April Tacey, winner of 2 stages of the women's tour, the virtual tour, coming and sending a message to all of our riders. So a massive massive thank you to them. And, of course, to all of our riders who jump on there. You can find all the links on the Facebook page. Make sure you go on there. Don't forget, we are back on Tuesday. If you're around in the meantime, well, I've got a relatively quiet week. I'm going to be heading over to Mallory on Sunday. You're going to be there for a multiple triathlon event, which is going to be really entertaining. Looking forward to being on the mic for that. Russ is out at the Worlds, aiming to actually get some miles in on the bike as well, somewhere along the lines. Keep it upside down. Enjoy yourselves. From me, Matt Payne, from everybody on the Donny Chain Gang here on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed tonight's madness that was Crit City, and we will see you soon in